Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here as we get ready to go dirt track racing for Monday Night Racing League. We're here for the first race of the second round of the playoffs as we had 3 drivers eliminated last week. 10 drivers move on here tonight to try and see if they can tackle Eldora Speedway. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Michael Norman. And Michael, you ready for the dirt to go a-slinging?
Absolutely. This track is one of the definitions of turn right to go left. You're going to see these drivers going off into these corners, turning in the opposite direction. This track is all about throttle control.
As mentioned, 10 drivers moving on to the next round. One of them starting on the pole here this evening. That is Nick DeGroot, who dominated last week's race at the Daytona Road Course. And I don't know for certain if DeGroot drove here at Eldora the first time they were here during the regular season, but based off of practice, he was top of the board here in qualifying. It kind of looks like someone's going to have to wrestle this win away from him.
Absolutely. I mean, he was, like you said, a dominant in practice. He ran a 20.089, and in qualifying, he was not that far off with the 20.157. You got Kyle McFadden in the 39 car. He was only 200ths off of Nick DeGroot's time, so he might not actually be that bad of a choice to be able to wrestle this win away. But I mean, it's going to be a real difficult.
And you notice down there in 12th place, one of the drivers that we were told is going to be one to watch coming to this race, and we expected to see a much better starting position out of him, and that is Ron Capps. The reason being because the first time these drivers were here this season, Ron Capps dominated, led every single lap en route to a victory that put him eventually here into the playoffs. So that 49 car is going to have to work his way through the field if he's going to be able to double down here at Eldora.
Absolutely. It's going to be coming through the field. You're going to watch some of these drivers will take the very inside lane where you see them at right now. Some of them will run the outside lane. So it's going to be all about how well you can enter the corner and get the runoff to see if we can have any slide jobs here tonight.
Eldora is dirt covered, but it is a short track. So you see these drivers will be making 2 pace laps as opposed to the 1 pace lap they normally make at the bigger speedways, which gives us an opportunity to tell you those 10 drivers that have moved on to the next round of battle here for this championship. They include Ron Capps, Nick DeGroot, DJ Cummings, Ford Martin, Michael Rossi, Chris Wilner, Seth Eggert, Justin Malello, Stephen Ellis, and Dylan Welch. Dylan Welch is not in tonight's field, and I believe Stephen Ellis also not in tonight's field, so they might find themselves in a little bit of trouble heading into Texas next week. As the green flag is out, let's race at Eldora.
Justin Malello, one of those that you said was moving on. He started in the 6th position already. Like we said, this is going to be all about a throttle control. You know, you don't want to slide your car up into another car, although Rubbin is racing, especially here at dirt tracks. They're looking to go 4 wide for the lead off turn 4.
They were almost 4 wide. Devin Henry way down on the bottom as Cummings, DeGroot, and McFadden were 3 wide. Now things settle at least about double wide there, but they are 4 wide further back. That's where you find Joshua Slate, Jeff Green, Michael Rossi, Ron Capps, and others all in this group.
Absolutely. And as we didn't really state this before going green, but there is not going to be a caution flag thrown unless we have a major pile up here. So for all we know, if things stay fine, this race could go green flag all 70 laps.
Gracious, these guys coming off the corner are nearly banging doors. Jeff Green, Ron Capps had a near moment. They're 3 wide up ahead of him again. DJ Cummings we saw down on the inside line making some headway. He's now moved up to the wall, and he's actually starting to fall back a little bit. A lot of drivers comfortable right up against that outside wall. A lot of drivers like we see further up there. Brendan Madonia, who finished 3rd the last time they were here at Eldora, he seemed to like the bottom.
That's right, and you don't want to get too high up because you could find yourself in the wall in no time, and you don't want that to happen here. And it's like you said, as you can see these cars sliding, you know, when you go to the inside of these racetracks, you have to use less throttle, and that slows you down. But if you can get a good run off, you can probably complete the pass. You know, the inside is a flatter part, while the outside is a little more banked, which is really interesting to see at a dirt track. Usually a lot of dirt tracks you see are kind of flat, but Eldora here has just a slight bit of banking on the outside lane.
Those that may be unfamiliar with the type of car these drivers are racing tonight, these are street stocks. And as you'll notice, the way that these cars are built, you've actually got the right side tires very much exposed outside of the body sheet metal. That allows them to be able to make this corner a lot easier, and I would assume, as opposed to other vehicles that we see race at Eldora, like
we got an incident. We got an incident in the back. We've got trouble with Jason Keffer's around at 26 of Chris Wilner is involved, and that's going to throw out the first caution as Seth Eggert also involved.
Seth Eggert, who's one of our playoff contenders, collected up in this one, and we saw just how difficult it was for drivers to actually make passes. I mean, yes, they were racing 3 and 4 wide, but not a whole lot of positions were being gained by drivers, and with Seth Eggert being back here, that's going to actually not be so good for him, because that's going to lose him a ton of track position.
Only good thing for these drivers that were involved in this accident was that you do get 3 fast repairs. So even though they've got a lot of damage, all they got to do is just come to pit road, get the damage repaired, and go back out.
I believe this incident may have started with the 26 of Chris Wilner, and we'll see what happened to him. Seth Eggert in the 66 is actually a little ways back behind this, and I believe it happened over here in this next corner. That is the 81 of Joe Agee to the inside. Oh, Agee actually made some contact there with another car, and there you see right there, 33 actually got hooked around by Drew Welker. That's Keffer, and then when Keffer's car came back down, nowhere for Wilner to go, and I think that actually the 66 might have been involved in something further back, because he wasn't actually caught up in that incident.
Yeah, that would count as a multi-car accident. And like you said, and you know, it's like I said earlier, it's all about throttle control. The one car went into the turn with too much throttle into it, just drifted it straight up into a person, and that's what started all this.
I'm gonna go back and see what happened here to the 66. It might have actually been the one of Drew Welker that spun down in front of him, perhaps, because I saw him just kind of coming into the camera view after the incident with Wilner. You mentioned as well the fact these drivers have 3 faster pairs. I don't know necessarily. I mean, I would think that based off of horsepower in the front end of the car, if you make impact with the front, maybe you might want to use that faster pair. But when it comes to a dirt track like Eldora, you don't necessarily have to have the prettiest car to go to victory lane.
Absolutely. Green flag is back out. We are back underway here at Eldora.
And up at the front, they are going to
already contact there.
There was contact for second for sure between McFadden and Devin Henry, as Nick DeGroot for the moment going to pull away. And boy, Henry driving it down deep, right down to that inside wall.
Absolutely, but he's not going to be able to get to the outside lane, gets the better run off the corner. You know, to get a good move, and we've seen it in the past, you're going to really have to use up the car in front of you. I mean, you've got to want it in order to get past him. As we're looking back here, I believe Ford Martin in the 07 car might have clipped a little bit of the wall the last lap, but doesn't seem to be really affecting his car.
I was going to bring that up just before we had that caution, the fact that usually a lot of the cars or trucks that we have race here at Eldora, those tires are usually kind of hidden underneath the sheet metal, but with those right side tires exposed, I don't think these drivers really want to run the risk of making contact with that outside wall.
Yeah, that would definitely not be good.
We move a little bit further back. I think these restarts are kind of helping Ron Capps.
There was an incident between the 19 and the 21, it seems, right in front of the leaders, and these cars are just going to be now right in front of them as they're trying to get out of the way here.
Yeah, you see Paul Sutton there trying to get down to the inside, get out of the way. This is maybe one of the tougher type of tracks to get out of the way as well. Oh, Jerry Jordan going to spin around right in front of the leaders. And he immediately teleports to pit road. That's actually a great call on the part of the 21, because there could very well have been some of our race leaders plowing into him. And there's no caution thrown for that either.
No, good thing nobody else was involved.
The group got the wall. Sorry to cut you off, but Kyle McFadden got a heck of a run. Oh, Paul Sutton just wrecked the third place car.
And he's upside down in the middle of the racetrack. I'm really surprised that that's not a caution.
I think that was Brett Baldeck, who actually, I thought he was the third place car. He was running around where third place would be, but I think he was actually about to get lapped as well. I think those were 2 lap machines that got into each other there. And again, no caution.
Which is very surprising, as he was upside down in the middle of the... Kyle McFadden just smacked the wall there.
That's going to lose him a lot of momentum. This is a type of racetrack where you get into the wall and it almost kind of hugs you, loses you a lot of momentum. Got a battle here for third place behind them as well. I was going to say it's a 2-car battle, but there's some friends starting to join that. Of Justin Malello, Brendan Madonia, Ron Capps is now up to 7th after starting this race from 12th. And Ford Martin, let's not forget, Ford Martin was the runner-up finisher here the first time we were at Eldora, so he definitely knows how to get around this place. Oh, we got a car down there on the inside. I believe that was the 21 of Jerry Jordan. I think he just went down there to get out of everybody's way as Ron Capps nearly got into Justin Malello, and my goodness, look at this battling back here. Joshua Slayton, the 88, is actually multiple laps down, 2 laps down there on the right side of your screen. Whoa, DJ Cummings up and into Noah Lewis in that battle.
Yeah, keeping an eye on back here. Joshua
we got a sprinter. Noah Lewis, I believe, just went around. Jeff Green is involved. Michael Rossi as well. Track's rather blocked up there, and I think they may have to throw a yellow as Green is facing the wrong way.
Well, they're still holding it. They are still holding the green flag out right now as Jeff Green gets lapped.
Does get it refired. Michael Rossi teleports to pit road. A lot of drivers have run into some issues here, and there have been no cautions to save them as Green fell a lap down. Rossi's now a lap down. We mentioned Joshua.
There's the caution.
There's the yellow flag. And I'm not certain if that was thrown for the 3-car incident we saw over there in 3 and 4 or not, because it did come out a little bit later after the incident, but there were no drivers that got involved in a wreck the moment that caution came out. So I'm assuming that was for the incident involving Green, Rossi, and I believe the other car was, I forgot who the other car was.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Noah Lewis, actually, in the 96. So let's take a look and see if we can find out what happened back there involving Jeff Green and others.
That was just melee.
And of course, the thing, too, that yeah, it was pandemonium. And of course, the thing is, too, for those that are unfamiliar with the league, that the league admins are going to do everything they possibly can to get everybody back on the lead lap, give everybody a fighting chance. So that might take a little bit of time here under pacing. And there you see the incident. Looked like DJ Cummings just got up into the 98 of Lewis. Lewis then came down into Jeff Green and nowhere for the 17 of Michael Rossi to go. And Green was getting ready to drive away from the incident. A little bit of added contact between himself and the 98 of Lewis spins him back facing the wrong way, and he finally gets the car facing the right way. And there you see the leaders going around him. I think probably what happened there was due to it being a multi-car incident, the league admins were waiting for confirmation to find out how many cars were involved and if it was a multi-car incident before eventually throwing the yellow flag.
We were about to go back green. They decided to add an extra caution lap to get Paul Sutton back on the lead lap, I'm assuming. So we're going to be going green.
Well.
Yep, we're going to be going green this time by, it looks like.
Drivers had to teleport to pit road, and they're trying to get them all their laps back as best they can. Drew Welker, Brett Baldeck, Paul Sutton, Jerry Jordan, and Michael Rossi all by a number of laps down. I think that's Welker going around, actually make that Sutton going around to get another of his laps back. Green flag back in the air, and it's Kyle McFadden getting us back underway. Get Nick DeGroot. Oh, man, that car looked awfully sideways trying to use the inside line. Loses momentum. Here comes Devin Henry. Crosses over for second.
Hits the wall. DeGroot hit the wall a little bit. It's going to lose a lot of momentum. Not going for the crossover in the corner here. Not sure if he's not able to complete the pass yet.
Having some connection problems there is Devin Henry. Oh, we got a car upside down. There's several cars involved in a wreck there. That was Jason Keffer smoking bottom of your screen. I believe the upside down car was possibly Drew Welker in the one. Oh, but now we got some more wrecking back here, possibly.
Keeping an eye on going through here, though. The one car on is still going here. Not sure who that was. I know the 21. I know the 21 was involved. The 30, I think he said 33, Jason Keffer. I see the 88, Joshua Slate on pit road.
Ron Caps with some contact there with Devin Henry making the move for fifth.
Oh, and there goes the 10. DJ Cummings saved it.
Justin Malello nearly went around off the Paul Sutton machine. Goes up into him again as he and Stephen Ellis battling, or actually make that Jeff Green battling for position. Green after that spin out all the way back up to 7th place.
Oh, contact between him and Malello.
Those two had quite a race to the start-finish line last week at the Daytona Road Course. And now mixing it up for the 7th position here on track. Behind them, you've got Stephen Ellis. He's following behind the 19 of Paul Sutton, and Sutton's car is smoking.
Oh, man, this is intense, man. There's action all over this racetrack.
Almost 4 wide is Joe Adgie. That car, the whole front end is gone. DJ Cummings right behind him. Is DJ going to get a little out of shape? He saves it again as that car was facing 90 degrees the wrong way. Chris Wilner, who we saw get put a lap down early, he's now back up here in the 26, and I'm starting to see a number of these guys going up and hitting that outside wall. And it's not seemed to really affect the cars, and one thing I think the admins are going to be keeping an eye on is possible wall riding, because that is something drivers can do at Eldora and actually gain time.
Yeah, they're gonna definitely have to keep an eye on that, but our leader has pulled away.
Yes, he has. Kyle McFadden is gone, and he's got a couple of lap machines now between himself and this battle for second. Nick DeGroot gonna shoot the middle.
He's got no choice.
Oh, gracious.
He had no choice. They were holding him up. He slides right up into the corner and into the wall. That's just going to make the leader's going to have a heck of a time. He's just got to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. We're halfway through this race already. Oh, big wreck in the back.
Yeah, there's a big wreck there. That was the 88 of Joshua Slade who got turned around. Actually, I think he might have been the only car as we're still green. He went off the nose. So I think it was either Madoni or Ford. There's the yellow.
Yeah, I mean, if I was an admin, I would have thrown the yellow for that too. It's just all over.
It's so difficult to be able to keep an eye on just one portion of the racetrack because everywhere you look, there's something going on. There's 4 or 5 different lanes available to these drivers going into the corner, and they all culminate into about 2 lanes when they get to the straightaways. I think Joshua Slate was battling around 3rd, 4th place position, although he was off the lead lap. And I think the car that might have got him might have been another lap machine and Jason Keffer. We'll take a look here on the replay. Nope, it was Ford Martin. Ford was running at the time in the 4th position. And a lot of times at short tracks, when you've got somebody that's not on the lead lap and you're trying to get up to somebody for position, sometimes your patience wanes thin.
Oh yeah, it really, really does it. And then when you got lap cars that come into play that just block you, literally just block you, making it hard to get around, man. It makes it so much worse.
Take a look and see what Ford Martin sees on board of the 07, looking to make an evasive maneuver to the inside of Drew Welker, and then coming down here into this corner, there is Slate. And a lot of drivers have different ways that they approach the corner. Some take it with a lot more speed than others do, and I think that was a case right there where the 88 of Joshua Slate just didn't feel confident enough going that fast into the corner. Ford Martin did.
Absolutely. It's I don't want to say pandemonium, but it is exciting here at Eldora.
You can call it pandemonium, at least for the broadcaster standpoint, because my goodness, there's action every single corner of this racetrack. It's a short track. Everybody is up each other's gearboxes, and you could just throw a blanket over a number of battles that take place, especially when we have these wild restarts. As Kyle McFadden, after getting the lead from Nick DeGroot, really has not let anybody else get there. Ooh, he almost actually just got wrecked by the one of Drew Welker's going around to get his lap back. I think Brett Baldeck just got his lap back, so did Jason Keffer. So we should have 19 cars back in the lead lap when all is said and done here. Paul Sutton, Michael Rossi, Jerry Jordan, they still got to get their laps back at some point. Joshua Slate out of the race, as we should get the 1 degree here to be able to go back racing. Well, actually, we are halfway here through the Petrol Head Apparel Dirt Derby here this evening.
5 laps past halfway here. This race has gone by so fast, and I mean, Seth, you've got to take a breath before we get back green, because I don't think you're going to get a chance afterwards. None of us will.
I'm trying to conserve my oxygen here, because you're right. Going to be at a complete loss once these guys get back racing. And the one guy that I've been really impressed with here on these restarts has been picking up a lot of positions, has been that 6 of Jeff Green. So keep an eye on him. He's back in 8th position. Let's see if he can work his way up here towards the front as the green flag is back in the air with 30 laps to go.
30 laps to go, and oddly enough, not everybody was caught up. There's still some lap traffic around the back straightaway.
Car on the wall up there, 3rd place, I believe that was the 49 of Brett Baldeck. Our scoring monitor is incorrect. We're going to wait for that to settle out. Brett Baldeck is not the leader. There you go. McFadden is the leader, as Baldeck was being scored the leader just due to, I guess, the timing of the lap being added and the time that he crossed the start-finish line. The battle right now is going to be for that 5th position. That's where Devin Henry is to the inside of Ron Capps.
That's correct. He, race control said he was waved around too many times on accident. So we are still underway here, keeping an eye on all these cars. You know, you got to keep an eye on cars that are just hitting the wall here. You know, they're taking too much speed.
I think a thing too that is very forgiving about Eldora and these type of race cars is, as we said, they can take a lot of hits and still be okay. I don't think anybody has come to pit road to use a fast repair yet.
Oh, I've seen a lot of them that have been involved in wrecks do it.
Oh my goodness, contact right there between Devin Henry and I think that was Ford Martin, who got way out of shape there, and it's going to drop from 4th all the way back to 7th. Ron Capps is now up to the 4th position, and Brendan Madonia, remember he finished 3rd here the last time they were at Eldora. He's right within striking distance of the top 2.
That's right. Couple of cars just smacking the wall here. Jeff Green in 5th place up here. Ron Capps, you said, in 4th place. And then the battle's on. We got about a 3-car battle up here for the lead. As you can see, DeGroot is going to try to slide it on the inside of the racetrack, but just the outside lane gets the better run.
And if you're going to make that pass, you've got to have the car you're trying to pass cleared by the center of the corner, and then hope you keep your momentum up either off of 2 or 4, because more than likely the car behind you that you've just passed is going to try and cross you over to the next corner. Wow, both cars, both the top 2, slapping the outside wall there.
Man, I'm going to probably get ridiculed for this, but I'm going to say it anyways. To get the lead and get the win, these drivers have got to want it like what was his name? Like Norm Benning wanted to get into that one truck race during the heat races.
Yeah, I think if you're going to take this lead, you're going to have to use the door. Because more than likely, I don't even think the bumper is going to help you out. Just the fact that you and the car in front of you that you're trying to pass are both sideways. I think you got to drive it in deep, door that car up into the wall, try and stifle their momentum. And I think, as these laps start to tick down, when we get down to around, 8, 7, 6, 5 laps to go, we're going to see those moves being made.
Yeah, if they don't keep hitting the wall like that too. Just keep an eye on the more of these. Look at who else is coming into the picture from the top 3.
Defending winner of this race, Ron Capps. And let's not forget that right now, 2 of our top 4 are playoff contenders. DeGroot the 89, Ron Capps the 28. It's an automatic ticket into the next round if you win here tonight, regardless of what happens next week at Texas.
Now, my question to you is this: does Ron Capps just kind of bide his time until they start getting racy, or does he get up there immediately and just starts trying to pass them?
Well, I mean, for first off, he's actually been able to reel these guys in, so he's got a fast race car. Yeah, there was somebody facing the wrong way back there. I think that was the 21 of Jerry Jordan. He's been having issues, but I think that if you've got this momentum, keep it up. If you're up to these guys, pass them. Plus the fact, look, we've only got 20 laps left to go. These guys have been ticking away laps like crazy. I don't think he's got time to sit there and wait.
More trouble in the back here. Does the 07 about got loose off that corner here, but just keeping an eye out. Man, we've got cars just everywhere.
There's a lot of slower traffic up ahead for these top 4 to deal with. You can see some of them on the top side, some of them on the bottom. They just got around moments ago. The 19 of Paul Sutton, another driver they just passed right there, who yielded on the inside line. As, again, those top 3 hitting that outside wall pretty good. Ron Capps, on the other hand, has not gone up there and hit the outside wall. I think that's why he's been able to reel these guys in, because his momentum has not been stifled.
Yeah, look as he sails. He's sailing it into the corner, but it's kind of hurting his exit speed.
Is a little bit there, but I'll tell you what, if we end up getting a caution and he's lined up with these guys, keep an eye on him, because Ron Capps right now may be the fastest car on the track, but right now they are all chasing a non-playoff contender in Kyle McFadden. If McFadden wins, that means it may come down to just points next week when we get to Texas with the Radicals.
Absolutely. Last I heard, Radicals was a group in wrestling, but I think that'll be interesting to see. Well, look at Ron Capps. Woo!
Under the back bumper of Madonia, both of those cars here tonight with a 49 on them. Ron Capps we're used to seeing in the 28 as he drove it in deep, trying to get he drove it in deep again. That time all he got was wall.
Yeah, and he's got to start all over again, and we're approaching 10 laps to go.
You know what I'm noticing as well is these drivers are trying to maneuver their way around traffic. There's the 26 of Wilner back there. There's the 1 of Drew Welker. The top 3, top 4 are actually getting split up a little bit.
Yeah, lap cars coming into play now. Oh, look at the 1 just slide up in front of 3rd place.
Got to be so difficult being a slower machine with these leaders. Whoa, who was that?
Oh,
was
that's
that
16, that's the 19 upside down.
And look at the leader. Oh, caution. Caution's out.
Ooh, now this is going to be big.
Jerry Jordan, who was in the middle, and I think that was Michael Rossi on the top side that Kyle McFadden was trying to split up the center to get past, but fortunately for him, he didn't wreck it, and the caution does come out. I'm going to guess, you mentioned the 19 of Paul Sutton was upside down. I'm going to guess the caution possibly came out for him.
It's very possible with cars are wrecking all over the place.
See if we can go back and find out what happened here to the 19. Whoa, he went for quite a tumble there.
This is going
just barely ahead of the race leaders too, I think.
This is going to give a clear racetrack ahead of the drivers, and Ron Capps right up behind 3rd place.
You know, I don't want to chuckle, but if you go back and you watch the 19 flip over, you can see the one of Drew Welker spins. He spun it perfectly into the pit road entrance. That was a thing of beauty.
Oh, highlight of the race right there. Got to give him some kind of reward.
I mean, watch this. This, you can't plan something like this. Right here, he gets up into Ron Capps. Car spins around, and look at this. Beautifully done. It doesn't hit either one of the walls. That's a very thin area of racetrack to get to the pit road entrance, and he never hit either one of the walls. That's a 10 out of 10 there for Drew Welker.
Seth, you wish you could do that.
I wish I could do that for sure.
You could. You can't even do that in NR 2003.
I wish I could drive one of these things, to be honest. I mean, this thing looks so chaotic, but the way that these guys are able to keep it together, I mean, I'm having fun up here in the booth just watching this go down.
Yeah, I can't wait for this finish. Under 10 laps to go. Ron Capps is now at the back bumper of the third place machine, and we've seen him send it. I think we're going back green this time.
You say under 10 laps to go. Let's not forget, there are green-white checkers. 3 possible attempts at it if we need them.
Yep, here we go. Look at the... Oh, he gets turned!
Oh, and he's up and over. The track is completely blocked back there. Caution will undoubtedly fly. Hopefully someone's going to be able to flip Ron Capps over so he doesn't have to teleport, but I think everybody that could have already passed the 49 by.
Yeah, and that's a very tough break for Ron Capps. He was probably going to be on the make a move, but just Devin Henry went to the outside of him and just turned him.
Like Kyle McFadden, 39. Something's happened with him. His car just came to a stop, and that was our race leader. Remind everybody, too, we already mentioned 2 drivers, 2 playoff contenders did not start tonight's race. Dylan Welch and Steven Ellis. So we know, or I'm sorry, actually Steven Ellis is in the field. Dylan Welch did not start the race, I should say. So we know that 2 drivers are going to be heading into Texas next week below the cut line. And right now, based on who's running where, it would be, I believe, Michael Rossing the 17 and now Ron Capps.
I have no idea what happened to Kyle, if something came up or what, but...
Yeah, he just came to a stop.
He just came to a stop and disappeared.
There you see the cars involved. It was Devin Henry and Ron Capps that got together, and then I believe a little bit of contact as well. It was either the 81 of Joe Agee or possibly Noah Lewis in the 98. We'll go back and see which one it was. Might have actually been Noah Lewis in the 98.
I'm not even hearing anything over driver's chat about what happened to the leader.
We're going to go and see if we can find out what happened there to Kyle McFadden. Actually, McFadden, I said he was the race leader at the time. I think he actually had lost the lead to Nick DeGroot at that point. So he was in second place. Regardless, still, you know, one of our prime contenders here for this win. And
oh, McFadden fell out.
Is that what happened to him?
It just says he fell out.
Wow, that is a tough break. I mean, let's watch the 39 here. And his tire is up, and all of a sudden he's going to come to a stop right here out of turn 4. And just like that, he's going to be gone. So, boy, that opens the door wide open now for somebody to maybe try and take this victory away from Nick DeGroot, who led about the first quarter of this race.
Absolutely.
Green flag to come back out, and it is out.
And the 89 car just goes away, and whoever was in second place did not get a good restart. Here comes Justin Malello, though. He's coming. He's going to be challenging for the second position. It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say if he can finish up into the top 3 here. But he's going to be under Jeff Green is right there, man. He ain't going to give that up.
I mentioned the fact that these two, Malello and Green, they duked it out for position in the closing stages of the Daytona Road Course race last week, and they've got Steven Ellis right behind them as well in the 46. DJ Cummings, what a comeback for that 10 car. We saw him out of shape several times in the early portion of this race. He's now up to 6th.
3 laps to go, 2 laps to go at the line now, and this is going to be interesting.
Right now it's about 0.3 of a second. Now close it down to 0.2 of a second between DeGroot and Madonia, as both of them knocking down the outside wall. Doesn't matter which corner they're going into. Both driving it deep into the corner. The right rear slamming the wall, and then the right front in turn hitting the outside wall as Madonia that time tried the inside line, which lost him a little bit of ground. And we got a wreck in the back. White flag is out as Baldeck and Keffer are facing the wrong way, but no caution. We're racing around to the checkers.
Out of the way they are, not in any harm's way for the leaders.
Nick DeGroot has a half second between himself and Madonia. DeGroot's going to lock himself into the next round. He wins the Petrolhead Apparel Dirt Derby at Eldora.
Oh, and somebody just clobbered the wall. I believe that was the 33 machine.
Jason Keffer. I think he and Brett Baldeck actually both spun around there on the final lap, or coming to the final lap, but it did not bring out a yellow. And Nick DeGroot is going to go back-to-back. He won last week with the Porsche 911s at Daytona Road Course. He wins here tonight with the Dirt Street Stocks at Eldora.
Not bad for Nick DeGroot.
As I mentioned, I don't know if Nick DeGroot took part in the earlier Eldora race this season or not. If he did, I would have loved to have known where he finished that race, because I've watched Nick DeGroot before in other leagues, but seen him only really at road courses, or if he's at speedways, it's in an Indy car. This is the first time I've seen him in the car of this type of configuration. And let's be honest, he was really one of the top 3 fastest cars of the day, led the early portion of this race before Kyle McFadden got around him, but I don't think Nick DeGroot fell outside of the top 2 all night.
No, he really didn't. He was just in the top 2. If it wasn't for him, he got the lead back in a late race restart. And it's incredible. I really figured that Ron Capps would have had something, but just very, very tough break.
Brings the car up there into the victory lane area near the front straightaway here at Eldora. And as he does that and celebrates, we're going to take a look at our full finishing results from this race. And of course, we got to highlight the playoff contenders. Nick DeGroot obviously is locked into the next round with his win, but great points nights for Justin Malello bringing it home 3rd, Stephen Ellis in 5th, DJ Cummins with a great comeback run. He's going to finish in 6th, and Noah Lewis going to bring it home in the, or I'm sorry, actually Noah Lewis is not a playoff contender, so I believe we only had 1, 2, 3, 4 of our playoff contenders finish up inside of the top 10. A lot of drivers going to have some work to do when we get to Texas next week.
Absolutely.
Saw Ford Martin up at the front earlier on. He's going to fall to 13th. Seth Eggert, who got involved in the first caution, at least a bit of a comeback for him, up to 12th. Michael Rossi was involved in this as well. He's going to get 11th. And as far as the other playoff contenders, you got Ron Capps down there, 4 laps down in 18th. He's going to have a lot of work to do at Texas next week. And I believe that might have been all of our playoff contenders here. Let me just double check. No, Chris Wilner also was a playoff contender. And I believe he finished this race in the 15th position. But right now, as things stand, it looks like the 3 drivers that are going to be in trouble below that cut line when we get to Texas next week would obviously be Dylan Welch, who did not start tonight's race, Ron Capps, and Chris Wilner.
We've got our third and second place finishers in here, Seth.
All right, so let's see if we can get a word here with Justin Malello in the 53. Hey, Justin, it's Michael and Seth up here in the Flatout Racing Network studios. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Well, we saw you in the thick of everything there, 3 wide, occasionally 4 wide. You started a little bit ways back in the field, had to fight your way to the front. Describe that adventure trying to get up into the top 3.
It was definitely a crazy night tonight on the dirt with so many great drivers that are out there. And I was going to be happy with the top 10 finish, honestly. I just wanted to survive my way through to the next round of the playoffs. We ended up with a 3rd place finish somehow.
You know, we mentioned the fact with the restarts, how we saw drivers making a lot of moves, a lot of side-by-side racing, but there were points where, despite some incidents that took place, we remained under some long green flag runs. How difficult was it making passes when you started getting settled into a bit of a run there?
It was very difficult to make passes. It was just, you could only go on the outside. If you tried to go low, it didn't stick. If we had maybe I'd say another 30 to 40 laps, I think there would have been way too much rubber up on the top lane, and the bottom would have come into play, but the race was so short. The top was always going to be the preferred groove, and it worked out where the Silver Streak managed to miss all the carnage and get into a podium finish.
Obviously, we know you guys had 3 faster pairs at your disposal, but we know that with Eldora being as short a track as it is, when you come down pit road, you run the risk of going a lap down. So it seemed like very few drivers even came down pit road to use that faster pair. Just how durable is this type of race car to be able to go up there and slam the wall like we saw a number of drivers do?
I definitely molded over during a couple of those cautions using one of those faster pairs. It was it was either keep the position and possibly have a beat up car, or give up all that track position and maybe fight your way back to the front. And I just didn't see, with, like I said, how short this race was. It just all mattered about having the track position at the end. So I definitely slammed the wall a couple times, and it held up. It held up very well. So just so excited to have a top 3 finish here on the dirt, and finally be able to talk to you guys. I mean, I've been on how many FRN broadcasts all of 2020, and this is the first time I get to talk to you guys. So
I mean, you mentioned that just the goal tonight was to put yourself into good position heading to Texas next week. You certainly did that with a 3rd place run here tonight, Justin. We're going to now turn the microphone over to you. Let's do some shout outs.
just want to give a shout out to everybody who's a part of this Monday Night Racing League, who comes out and races with us. It's really cool to get to do this every Monday night. Really blessed to be a part of it. I want to thank all my friends and family who are watching tonight, everybody over at FTF, and thank you guys for another excellent broadcast.
Justin Malello, he's got some good points heading into the elimination race next week at Texas. Congrats on a great run. We look forward to seeing you in the Lone Star State.
Thank you, guys.
And let's get our 2nd place finisher, Brendan Madonia. Hey, Brendan, it's Michael and Seth up here in the Flatout Racing Network studios. You got us?
Yes, sir, I do.
Oh, you kept your number 49 up there in the top 3 all night long, got up to 2nd place, but what, if anything, did you need just a little bit more of to be able to get around that 89?
Time. I mean, street stocks at Eldora, it's all about momentum. And, on the last restart, I missed a shift and I couldn't catch Nick. I mean, he pulled away from me, and by the time I could even get to him, it was too late. So gave it all I had, but 2nd place feels like a win right now.
Obviously we had the earlier race here at Eldora during the regular season, and you were the only driver to pull off top 3 finishes in both races. Was there anything you were able to learn from the earlier race this season that you were able to apply here tonight, or did this seem like an entirely new track?
The high line was dominant again, and it was a really fine line between where the rubber was and the wall, and you had to hit it perfect. So that was the same. One thing I just kept in my mind was keep Ron Capps behind me. He was fast in the first race, and I couldn't catch him in that one. And in this one, he was fast too. He was all over me until the last caution there. So probably those 2 things were at the top of my list.
We talked with Malello just moments ago, and he said that really it was very difficult to be able to try and make passes on that inside line, not able to get that momentum. You had a couple of shots to be able to get up there and pass Nick DeGroot or Kyle McFadden. What is the thing that you basically had to do to be able to make a pass? Did you have to maybe bump someone out of the way? Did you have to door them? Seeing as how everybody was running right up there on that top line.
That's always an option, but that's not my style of racing. Really, it was just hoping that the 2 guys in front of you make a mistake. Hope that they hit the wall hard enough that it slows them down. The tough part with the street stocks is, if you lose too much speed in the corners, it really messes up the whole corner and you lose ground. So it's really hard to kind of time a slide job, and we saw that a couple times. It didn't quite work. So really, just kind of hoping that the guys in front of you make a mistake and you're able to capitalize.
Brendan, obviously great numbers here this season with back-to-back 3rd place runs here at Eldora. I know that obviously, unfortunately, you're not battling for the championship, but you've had some really good runs here the past couple of weeks as well. We're going to turn the microphone over to you, and now let's do some shout-outs.
Yeah, I got to give a shout-out to my sponsor, Riverhead Building Supply, my girlfriend, Claudia, my parents watching. Kyle McFadden, I mean, he's my buddy. He got me into this league. It's unfortunate that he wasn't able to get the W, but without them, I wouldn't be here where I'm at. So gotta thank them all, and thanks to Flatout for putting this on. Thank you guys for covering us. I hope you put on a good show.
Oh, you definitely did. There's no doubt about that. That's Brendan Madonia, brings it home, runner-up here tonight at Eldora. A great run for you here tonight. We wish you luck next week, Texas.
Guys.
And let's go down to Victory Lane and visit with Nick DeGroot. Hey, Nick, it's Michael and Seth up here in the Flatout Racing Network studios. You got it? We'll see if we can try him again here. Hey, Nick. Guys up here in the Flatout.
You got me?
Yes, we got you. Well, last week we saw you go to Victory Lane at a road course. I'm used to seeing you do that. Didn't know what kind of a dirt track racer you were, but man, you never went off of P1. P1 in practice, P1 in qualifying, and you pick up the win here tonight. Talk about it from the front there. I mean, obviously a lot of drivers seem to be having hands full back there in double and three wide racing. You had some pretty clean racetrack, but were you still struggling with that race car?
Yeah, that was definitely outside my comfort zone doing dirt track racing. And Kyle McFadden, he really put up a fight there. But most of that race, my main goal was just stay in front of the trouble, stay in front of the trouble. But the trouble eventually found us because we caught the back end of the field and things got a little dicey. But when Kyle took the lead from me, he pulled off a great slide job there. And I had noticed you're only going to take the lead here, barring the leader doesn't mess up, either with a slide job on a restart or a slide job when they get caught up in traffic. So towards the end of that race, I knew I had to do that on a restart. That was like my only chance. And that second to last restart, I got a great run on Kyle, threw it down to the inside, and that's when it all went wrong. So I slid up the track in front of him, and I got way more sideways than I wanted to. He was riding right against the wall, had a lot of momentum, nailed me, but didn't hurt me, hurt him. He went up on his side, he flipped over, raced over, and I just feel so bad for him because he had, I think, the strongest car. I was taking everything I had to keep up with him there, so I feel bad that it cost him his race, but I knew it was my only opportunity on restart. I had to throw it down under him.
Obviously you brought up a point that I was going to touch on, the fact of trouble finding you with the slower traffic at the tail end of the pack. A number of drivers running some issues, but it didn't bring out a caution. And we saw you and a number of the race leaders having to almost go three wide up the middle with that slower traffic. It looked like it was difficult for them to get out of your way, but how difficult was it to make passes on them? Because a lot of them were running that preferred line you guys wanted.
Yeah, there was a moment I had to split them right up the middle, and I think Brendan followed me, so that was pretty dicey. But I think part of the problem was, and a few of them were saying this, their steering was bent. And because it was such a long green flag run, they couldn't pit for a fast repair. So they were unpredictable. They were on the bottom one corner. They were on the top the next. I know Kyle got all held up by Paul Sutton at one moment. And that was really adding a lot of spice to that race. And there came a moment where Kyle caught a couple lap cars who were side by side. And I thought that was the moment I was going to get them. And then boom, caution for something back in the pack. So then we had those restarts, and I knew we're probably not going to catch lap cars again. So they were definitely a wild card factor tonight.
The only race that Flatout Racing Network has covered previous to this was a truck series race at Eldora. And obviously in the trucks, the tires aren't nearly as exposed as they are in the street stocks. And we saw you and a number of other drivers knocking down that outside wall with those exposed right side tires. And you mentioned a lot of drivers talking about the steering being bent. I mean, did it affect how the car drove, taking those hard shots into the outside wall?
Thankfully for me, I never hit it quite hard enough to bend the steering, but I'll tell you, every time I got into it, when I would come back down the straightaway, I had to look down at my wheel and be like, okay, are we still straight? We're still straight? Okay, we're good. But yeah, that's definitely a problem here that you can encounter if you knock that wall down, as you were saying.
Now, obviously, a lot of drivers, when they're in the playoffs and they're able to win a race before an elimination race, it gives them a lot of confidence knowing they're going to be advancing to the next round. So next week, we're going to Texas. We're running the Radicals. What's your mindset going into that 1.5 mile track?
Just have some fun. I am so glad that I won this race because I was very worried about those. I have never turned a single lap in a Radical ever on iRacing. And from what I understand here with this race at Texas, it's going to be a bit like a pack race, almost like when we were running IndyCars Talladega or just a normal Cup race at Daytona Talladega. So I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that. And I could just go there, try these cars for the first time and just try to have some fun.
Obviously, a lot of momentum here on your side. As you mentioned, you get to go there, have a little bit of fun at Texas. Back-to-back wins, the elimination race last week at the Daytona Road Course and the first race of the second round here tonight at Eldora. We're going to let you do some shout-outs now.
Yeah, just got a shout out my team owner, Covey Moore. Again, he's the paint scheme guru here with this race car every week. And motorsport.com, CoveyMoore.com, Factory Back Motorsports, and be sure to check out our Instagram at Factory Back.
It's Nick DeGroot, back-to-back wins here in Monday Night Racing, and his latest one here tonight at Eldora Speedway, taking the victory in the street stocks. Congrats on a great win there, Nick. Go enjoy it, and we look forward to seeing what you do next week with the Radicals at Texas.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Well, Michael, I think there's definitely no doubt that this race did not disappoint. I think the only disappointing thing for me was it was a very quick race. 70 laps went by awfully quick. I could have done this for quite a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, that was insane. 70 laps just flew on by, and now it's over with, and Nick DeGroot walks away the winner.
Now, obviously, Nick mentioning the fact that we're going to be seeing the Radicals at Texas next week, a lot of pack racing, so to speak. And so maybe an opportunity here for those drivers that we mentioned. They're going to be below the cut line, like Ron Capps, Chris Wilner, Dylan Welch, if he's able to make it. Obviously, wasn't able to make it here tonight, but it sounds like if it's going to be like a super speedway type race at 1.5 miles, we're going to see a lot of movers and shakers as far as who could be eliminated and who could be moving on to the next round of the playoffs.
Absolutely. It's going to be unpredictable, and I cannot wait for it.
We hope everybody enjoyed tonight's race here from Eldora. Flatout Racing Network's coverage of the Petrol Head Apparel Dirt Derby. What a crazy one it was this evening. And Nick DeGroot can breathe a sigh of relief heading into next week as he is tonight's winner at the dirt track in Ohio. We will see you guys next week as the elimination race, which will whittle the field down from 10 to 7, will be taking place at Motor Speedway, and we will be running the Radical cars there. Should be a wild one. But Michael, I want to thank you for joining me here tonight for a crazy race at Eldora.
No problem. It was fun, and I cannot wait for more action.
Next week, the green flag will be flying roughly around 9:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Texas. We hope you will tune in for that. But for Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole. Thanks for tuning in this evening to another broadcast courtesy of the Flatout Racing Network.